Hey, I'm Ryan Wheelis, and I want to welcome you to the Allied Wealth on the Money YouTube channel. We are here to provide great financial advice and real-life scenarios to help make retirement planning easier for the folks that follow the channel. If you feel like the channel gives you good information and you get value from watching these videos, please click a like and give us a subscribe as well and help us build the YouTube channel following. Folks, I've got a really exciting show for you tonight. I've got a good friend of mine, Mr. Marc Lauffenberger, here in the studio with me tonight. Marc has just written a book called The Retirement Hero. And one of the cool things about Marc is he is a gentleman who's been in the insurance business for a long time. And he's forgotten more about insurance and life insurance than probably anybody will ever know. Well, Marc, welcome to the YouTube channel. So glad to have you, bud.
Thank you, Ryan. Really good to be here. I'm excited to share my life's work with you and your folks in your channel. So let's do this together.
Let's do this, man. Well, let's just start with this, bud. I mean, give me the impetus of why you felt now was the time to write the Retirement Hero book.
Deal. So for the past 24 years, I've been a life insurance specialist, and it's little known, but it's one of the best financial vehicles your clients can put their money. Well, first of all, life insurance is important to have. If you have a family, if you have children, if you have a mortgage, if people depend on you for their financial well-being, you need life insurance.
Yeah, and I've got it for the wife and I, Callie and I have it for the kids and I. You know, if I go down in a plane crash, God forbid, or she dies or something like that, we're well insured. We do a lot of that with term insurance.
Right.
All right, that's one way to do it, but there's other types of life insurance out there as well that do some different things.
Exactly right. First of all, life insurance 101, you need to have the right amount to cover you in case the unimaginable occurs.
What do you feel like that number is, Marc?
Well, it depends, and I have a way of figuring that number out for folks, because the national average for folks that have a life insurance policy is just under 200,000, and you're in the Houston area, and I'm in Southern California, and for most families, a $200,000 death benefit is not going to be enough for that family to survive very long at all. So
sure.
The number one thing I like to help my clients discover is what their monthly number is. What would you imagine is the average monthly number for your average listener if the primary breadwinner doesn't come home tonight? They pass away early. What amount of money do they need just for 1 month to stay in their own world so they don't have to sell the homes, the vehicles, or to give up on the college dreams? What's the average number in Houston? Give me a number.
I'm going to say at least $8,000 a month, Marc.
$8,000 a month, fair enough. So 8,000 times 12, we're at 96,000 a year. Yeah. That's about average. We need to replace 96,000. So you're a money guy. What's the best guaranteed rate of return you can get on money that needs to last a lifetime?
Guaranteed? Yeah, right now, maybe 3.5%.
Let's round it up to 4, fair enough?
Okay.
So we need 96,000. 96,000 divided by 0.04%. Any ideas what that is?
I'm drawing a blank there, bud.
Hang on one second.
You got
4%, million, 40, 90. We need about $2.4 million in the bank, earning 4% interest to generate 96,000. Now,
wait a minute. You're telling me that the folks out there are uninsured, underinsured to the tune of 90%.
A lot of them.
Marc, that is staggering.
It's a staggering number.
That is absolutely staggering.
Right. But that's the way to do it. Now, there's all kinds of fancy software applications you can use, but I find it's really simple to ask a husband and a wife, if one of you, the primary breadwinner, doesn't come home tonight, the non-breadwinner, they know what they need on a monthly basis. You said 8,000 in the city of Houston. Well, I reverse engineered that. If you can earn 4 points on the money, that's about $2.5 million of life insurance.
Wow.
Now, I hate to tell you, that might not even be enough, because before you know it, some of that money gets spent down.
Sure.
You no longer have $2.5 million earning that necessary 4%. You have a lesser number because the mortgage was paid off or a car was paid off or bills have been paid off. The good news is, at the very least, that's a very affordable number. With term insurance being as low as it's ever been, a 45-year-old healthy individual can probably get that 2.5 for under $100 per month.
Wow.
Now, that's Insurance 101.
Sure.
That's what every insurance financial professional, not a lot do it, but you should absolutely do with every client to make sure, because in the event of that unimaginable accident, if you're going to deliver that $2.5 million check, that family is going to have some breathing room.
Absolutely.
At the most trying time of their life. So if we do anything here in this conversation, we are financial and insurance professionals, and I take great pride in making sure families have the amount, at least to the extent they can afford it,
Marc,
the most they can get.
That is tremendous value add right there, folks. If you're watching this and you're hearing this for the first time, I'm actually blown away by these numbers. This is staggering. Most people are out there that they're underinsured to the tune of 90%.
A lot of folks.
And you know, people say, well, you know, I don't get to benefit from life insurance until I die, but sadly, I know I've lost friends that died way too young, and it happens, folks. And it's one of these things where you don't want to be on the other side of the grave, kind of looking back into the life that you just departed,
Right.
and seeing your family underinsured. I mean, I couldn't imagine what that would feel like in the afterlife.
Yeah, it must be horrendous. Now, I haven't experienced that because every time I design these for my clients, I make sure we have the right amount of life insurance. But that leads me to my book.
Yes, yeah, let's get
Because that's
there,
the
bud.
second kind.
Yeah, this is the fun kind.
This is the fun kind. This is life insurance for the living. Now,
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Life insurance for the living?
Yes.
Okay.
Instead of having to wait to the end of your life for somebody else to benefit, which is crucially important, this is the opposite kind of life insurance. It's not our grandparents' life insurance anymore. It's modern, 21st century life insurance. We determine an amount of money a family, safe dollars that they can put away, and we buy the very least amount of insurance because in the wrapper of life insurance, the financial parameters within the wrapper of life insurance are second to none in terms of the things it can do for a family. And I'm going to talk about that here today a little bit more.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm
So
pretty excited.
I'm excited about it, buddy. You're obviously excited. You wrote a book on the topic, right?
What do you think of the cover?
Yeah, so you know, let's go back to your days. I know you worked at Shearston Lehman when you kind of first started. Tell me about that, Mark. What happened at Shearston Lehman?
All right.
Give me a little bit of background.
So I'm 21 years old and I just got out of the military and I needed to work.
Thanks for your service, by the way.
My pleasure. I knew I wanted to be in money. I was kind of always a mathematical guy. Money was kind of my calling. So I got an entry-level job at Shearston Lehman Brothers in La Jolla, California. After about 2 weeks, this guy from Human Resources came by my desk and he goes, "This is a company retirement plan. In a couple weeks, it's what's called open enrollment right now. In a couple weeks, just please fill this out so you can participate in the company retirement plan." And I thought, that's great. I thought to myself, I know a little bit about money. I think I can do this. But then I looked on this form and it was filled with terms that I hadn't yet heard about. Foreign stocks, growth accounts, income accounts. What should I do at 21 years old? What percentage of the money should I put away? So it just dawned on me that at a professional money shop like Shearston Lehman Brothers 32 years ago, they didn't give me any advice. There was no instructions. And I was working for a firm that specialized in money. So that was like my first indicator. Well, I better figure this out on my own. So
you worked at a firm that's supposed to give instructions with money and gave you a 401k plan with no instructions.
Can you imagine that? So Act 1 of my book, and they're acts instead of chapters because these are real life scenarios, folks, that we're talking about here. Most of the people don't get a whole lot of direction, whether it's at 45 years old or even when you're starting out at 21 years old. And if you're young right now, pay attention because if you do the right financial things when you're young, imagine, Ryan, at 18 years old, if you would have been making those smart financial decisions already, how much more ahead of the game you'd already be, and I know you're doing just
It
fine.
would be incredible. I mean, it
Wouldn't
would
it?
be, yeah, I'm 45 and would literally be able to retire well today, right now.
Well, you're on your path. You're
No
going to get
question.
there before most of us,
No
but
question.
hey. Yeah, so that was the impetus about this book. The wrapper of life insurance is pretty exciting. So Act 1 of the book, simply, you probably aren't getting the knowledge that you have, but I wrote this book so you can have some more knowledge. And if you follow through these 7 acts, the last act, I'm going to ask everybody, I'm going to ask your listeners to act on this information.
Okay.
Because the wrapper of life insurance, believe it or not, and please don't turn this off because you're hearing life insurance, I think it's one of the best places for anybody to put money. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do spend some time with that, Mark, because you know there's what we're talking about here, folks, is cash value life insurance, and there's so many opponents of cash value life insurance, and it's one of these things where I think a lot of people don't understand the benefits, and so many people just tune it out because they feel they're too old, or they feel it's too expensive, or it doesn't work, or you know somebody on some financial talking head on TV or somebody that wrote a book said don't do it. Yeah. And the reality is that there may be things that come along and evolve that make life insurance much better. And one of the things that I know about life insurance, and there's a guy out there named Ed Slott who's called I believe it's Section 7702
Yes.
of the tax code is the greatest gift left in the tax code, because there's an ability for life insurance to actually provide you lifetime income with tax-free.
Exactly.
And so many people don't know that, Mark. So let's kind of get into that a little bit and the living benefits of
Yes.
life insurance. Because we're not talking about the death benefits. We
Right.
did that first. Living benefits. Let's kind of talk about that.
Well, the death benefits are going to be covered by that term insurance, the right amount.
Right.
We're buying what's necessary to make sure those family units get there to pay off the mortgage, kids are through college. That's the amount that's needed.
Super important.
Super important. Have to have it. Now, you bring up in the Internal Revenue Code 7702. Basically, it's how life insurance gets taxed. You can create two kinds of life insurance policy, a taxed version and a non-tax version. Of course, I specialized in the non-tax version. From a perfectly set up non-tax version, it's called a non-MEC, a non-modified endowment contract.
Okay.
You can take out distributions from the wrapper, from the cash value accumulation, income tax free, that you can never outlive if you structure it correctly. Now imagine that. There's not a whole lot of asset classes out there that you can take money out of and not outlive that money, whether you make it to 80, 90, 100, or even beyond. It's very interesting, unique in that regard.
So this sounds to me a lot like a Roth IRA.
Yeah.
So, but there's income limitations on being able to put money into a Roth IRA. So is this an opportunity for some folks that are more wealthy that make some good income to actually maybe have a Roth IRA kind of
Yes.
program?
It's available for everybody, the young, the old, even up to age 70s. Folks can take advantage of this.
Life insurance today for somebody who's 60 to 70 years old to take advantage of this exists?
It does exist today.
'Cause if I'm 60 or 70, Mark, I'm going life insurance. What the heck would I need to buy life insurance for?
Again, it's the wrapper, and if you design it, traditional life insurance, we're buying what your family needs for the least amount of money to coverage. This is the opposite. This is turn that pendulum around. Put in as much as you can afford, whether it's $50 a month or $5,000 a month. And now we're asking the insurance, let's buy the least amount we have to keep this thing tax efficient, 7702 compliance.
Which is contrary because term insurance, I want the least amount of money going in for the
Right.
biggest death benefit. And what you're saying in this scenario is they're trying to put the most dollars in for the least amount of death benefit because we want those dollars to accumulate and get big.
Yes.
Right? So in the future, we can maybe pull those dollars out via tax-free income?
Yes.
Wow.
The reason we do this, the reason we buy the least amount, life insurance, of course, has an expense component to it.
Once what the opponents of this program
Say that.
say it's just costly, you shouldn't do it because it's too expensive.
Yes, but that's not the case at all. Life insurance is a little bit more expensive in the earlier years, but over the course of the life of the policy, I have found generally the average is less than 1%. Now you're in the professional management game, and a less than 1% fee to manage a whole lot of money is a pretty good value proposition, is it not?
That is substantial. 1%?
Over lifetime, higher early during the funding years.
But it amortizes out
Of course,
over to about 1% a year for the
Right.
life of the program.
We're not chasing overnight success here. We're chasing planned, a lifetime of value.
Wow.
So that's exactly what this new kind of insurance is. So very quickly, after the funding period, we turn this life insurance policy into what I call a cash cow. Where very quickly, 99% of the asset, the cash value, is growing, and only it's costing you approximately 1% in the later years per year to manage a big pile of money.
You said growing, though. Well, I'm thinking to myself, if I'm putting money in this policy and I'm paying the life insurance cost inside of this, what do you mean growth? Where does the growth come from?
So out of every dollar you pay in premium, not 100% of those dollars go for all the expenses. The expenses in the early years represent about 18, 19%. So out of that dollar, about 19 cents of it are going for all these expenses. Life insurance, of course, isn't free. Then there's some internal components. There's some guarantees in the product that are accounted for. But that's only in the early years. In the later years, those expenses drop down to virtually 1%. So that's what we're after here.
Okay.
We're putting in the most amount of money and buying the least amount of life insurance to turn this into an asset class that's unmatched. So let's talk about why it's unmatched.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Sure, yeah.
Money grows tax deferred, and Albert Einstein taught us that's one of the greatest things we have going.
Eighth wonder of the world.
Eighth wonder of the world. Now you need that. I call it my 3 tenets of good money management.
Okay.
Your money has to grow tax deferred.
Okay.
Unlike a CD or a savings or checking account, you're going to get taxed every year.
Right.
Thereby,
That's like the dollar doubles every year for 20 years with no
Yes.
taxes.
Yes.
It turns into $1 million, and if it doubles every year for 20 years with federal state taxes, it turns into like $20,000 or something.
it's critically important.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of folks take advantage of that, but of course, you got to have that one. The second one is you get to participate in the growth of the stock market only when the stock market's good. When the stock market is down, contractually, you lose zero value. So just imagine that. You get to grow when the market's up.
Wow.
You get to grow when it's up. Those gains, by the way, are locked in annually, becoming part of principal that they can never be taken away. And of course, eventually we know the markets go down.
Sure.
So in that year, the market now, so you just grew 2 years in a row, you locked in those gains, and finally in the third year, we have a market correction. Whether it's 1% or 20% or any number, your principal's 100% protected. Because of that, you can probably imagine you don't need these double-digit returns.
Right. You get to
to
win.
achieve some wealth.
You get to win by not losing.
You get to win by not losing.
Yeah.
Great way to put it.
Okay.
So that's number 2. And number 3, and you talk about it often in your regular commercials, the tax efficiency of it. If you create it right when you start, you don't have to pay any taxes when you take the distribution. It's life insurance coming back as a living tax-free benefit to help supplement your retirement income in your golden years. It's really unique in that regard.
Wow. So you're telling me I'm going to put money into this program. I'm going to have an average fee over the life of the program about 1%. My money's going to grow inside of in the account, kind of linked to a stock market index. The market goes up, I make money. When I make money, that money is that I made is locked in, along with my principal being protected.
Yes.
If the market falls down, I don't lose money. And then later on in life, when we let this thing cook for a while, I'm going to be able to take out money from this program tax-free.
You are.
Mark, that just, the viewers are going to watch the show. They're sitting there at home going,
All right, what's the obvious question?
Sounds too good to be true.
What's the obvious question? Mark, what's the downside?
Yeah, what's the downside?
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It always comes to me. The downside is I can't give you all of the upside.
Okay.
Occasionally the market goes up by 18%, 24%, 30%, whatever the number is.
Sure.
If you want your principal protected, they can't give you all of the up.
Okay.
Are you okay with that? Most people are really okay with never having to take a back step. So a lot of these contracts today, they have caps of 12, 13, 14%. That means you can make up to 100% of 10, 12, 14, depending on the particular product. But that's it. If the market does 25, they're going to cap you 11, 12, 14. Are you okay with that trade-off? Most folks are.
I am, because I understand mathematics well and understand that a major loss of 30 or 40% could easily wipe out gains of 30%.
Correct.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. So yes, I'm comfortable giving up some upside for the safety and protection of not losing money in the down market, for sure. I understand that well.
Wonderful. Now, we all know the market does this. Over a 2-year period, a 5-year period, or a lifetime period. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up and down. Follow me here, the beauty of indexing. Let's say you have a positive year, you make 10%. That 10% is locked in, becomes part of your principal. The next year, it starts at, again, that same number where it ended, you make another 10%. So now you've had 2 consecutive years of growth, and that interest has been added to your account value, can never be taken away for market loss. The 3rd year, the market tumbles 30%. So that year, what's it called? Zero's our hero. So you make no return that year. Actually, there's a few products today that are paying a minimum annual 25 basis point return. So in the year 3, you have no return, but guess what? That S&P 500 number now has gone from 2,000 down to 1,400 because it was a 30% loss. Your 4th year now, it starts at that new lower number.
So you actually start over, reset at that low number. You don't have to get back to even to go up. You start down here.
Now you get to enjoy the gain again from that lower number. So that's a value proposition that's really hard to come by.
Sure.
So because of those tax codes, 7702, the efficiency of it, and there's one very obscure one that I find most CPAs don't even know. It's called 72E1A.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's remote. Most CPAs don't know. It says that if you take monies out via loan, you don't have to pay any income tax, even more than your basis.
Right.
So here's what I find. First of all, for everyone listening, this is available for all of you, and if you have newborn infants, you'd be amazed at how powerful this is over the course of 80, 90 years on a newborn, just putting in $50 a month, even as low as $25 a month. You're as healthy, our clients are as healthy and as young as they're ever going to be. And I've been doing this for 30 years, and I hate to tell you, I've been getting a lot of calls over the course of the last few years about these folks in their mid-40s, mid-50s, and they just had that first medical issue. And they no longer are preferred rating. Now they are substandard, hopefully substandard. Hopefully they're not declined because it's so severe that they can no longer get insurance. Because at some point, everybody thinks about leaving a legacy, a financial one for sure.
Sure.
So I try to get folks in here as soon as possible because we're younger than it's ever going to be. Life insurance is inexpensive as it can be. So I always do my insurance 101, and then I ask them about, and this is what you do really, really well, you ask them about all their other assets. I'm trying to achieve, and it's in Act 4 of my book here, I'm trying to help folks get to the lowest possible tax rates they can, and you are a professional about helping folks just do that. Why is that so important about taxes, especially going forward, Ryan?
Well, it's super important, Mark, because your money's only going to go so far in retirement, and taxes are your biggest expense. For instance, a married couple today, retiring around 60 years of age, drawing $120,000 a year in income, will actually wind up paying almost $800,000 in income taxes over a 30-year period.
Wow.
And it takes about $2 million, maybe $1.8 million to produce $120,000 a year in income.
Right.
So think about, you've got $1.8 million nest egg, yet you're going to pay almost $750,000 in tax over a 30-year period.
Wow.
And taxes in this country are going to go up because we are $31 trillion in debt and rapidly climbing. And at some point in time, we're going to have to pay that bill. And folks, it's people in our 40s, like me, we're especially going to be the ones that get hit.
For sure. Wow. Pretty scary proposition.
So what do we do, Mark? Because, you know, we're taught to put all of our money in these tax-deferred accounts, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, 40-year-olds have a 401k at work, just kind of like you did at Shearson, right? They didn't, you know, there was no advice on how to do this. And so we're taught to say, you know, max out your 401k, and then if you can do a Roth, great. If you make too much money, you can't. So just keep trying to save money in what I call these tax-infested IRA accounts. Is that the way to do it? Is there another way to do it? Let's say that I make a certain amount of money and my 401k plan matches me 6%. Should I put, you know, $20,000 a year in there, or should I put $6,000 to take advantage of the match? I mean, what should somebody do?
Great question. I'm a big fan, because I'm in the business myself, I'm a big fan of obviously contributing to your company's 401k to the extent they'll give you a company match.
It's free money.
It's free money.
It's 100%
We'd be foolish.
return on the money you put in.
If that number's 5, then it's 5. If the number's 6, it's 6. If it's 12, it's 12. But to the extent of your company match, I recommend paying taxes on those dollars now when you can afford it. Taxes are low anyway. Potentially, we think they're going to be higher. So why is everyone putting so much money in these accounts? Maybe the biggest nest egg they're going to find in their life. They've done everything right. Their parents told them to get a mortgage at 30 years, and they pay off their home. And they take care of their children, make sure that they're functioning adults. And then they make it to 65, their home's paid off, and they've done well. They have $1 million or $2 million or more in their qualified accounts, but that's what they have. I talk about in Act 2 of the book about Uncle Sam has a permanent tax lien. He's your partner, effectively. For everybody that has any of these accounts that start with a 4, 401k, 403b, 457, a Keogh IRA, a SEP IRA, a simple IRA, all those things, Uncle Sam's your permanent tax partner. In addition to that, he gets to change the rule in the future. So why would we do that? If we know at 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years old that that's what the likely outcome is going to be, I recommend taking a step back, analyzing what we're doing, and now redirecting those dollars into Act 4, which is tax-free accounts. Life insurance being the wrapper that is superior. I mean, there's a reason the wealthiest individuals in our country have these kinds of accounts, because they're so efficient. When you protect principal, you never have to take a step back when the market declines. If you grow your money tax-deferred, and you can access your money income tax-free, earning an average of 6 or 7% is a really good deal, because you never have to fight back. And then when you can borrow the money out, income tax-free by a very little-known IRS code, and then eventually leave a remaining legacy benefit to your family, I find for clients in their 40s to 50s that the value proposition return is approximately 8 to 10 times to 1. In other words, if they put in $25,000 of premium over their life, they could get out $250,000 of tax-free living benefit and life insurance benefit over the course of their life.
So, you know, we're taught, Mark, with these retirement accounts, and this is conventional financial wisdom, and you know, you asked a second ago, why would we continue down this path? It's like we're going to just fall off of a cliff or something, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, we're doing this because this is what conventional financial wisdom teaches, and conventional financial wisdom also teaches that this is not a good program, which, folks, we're learning right now. There's some things, we might need to take a second look at this. And what I'm getting here, Mark, is really interesting, because I'm a father of 2 beautiful children, and I have a stunningly beautiful wife, folks, at home. I outkick my coverage by a mile. And so,
I'm going to vouch for that.
Yeah, he's going to vouch for that. Mark knows my wife well. And so the thing is that when I think about this, what I'm doing is, you know, putting money in a 401k, and I'm putting that money away. Well, if I die with no life insurance, the only benefit my family's going to get is the value of that 401k that they can't touch it for, you know, until they're 59.5 years of age.
Right.
What I'm picking up here that's really important is if I'm in my 30s, 40s, 50s, even my 60s, I have the ability to buy this into this program, invest my money into this program for tax-free dollars. But in the event that I actually pass away, my heirs get a large lump sum of money.
Right.
A 401k doesn't do that. So what I'm picking up here, Mark, is I got the ability to put money in this program, dollars that have been taxed. I put them in, they grow tax-free, right? There's an indexing strategy where I make money up to a cap limit of 10, 12, 14%, whatever the product is. The market falls, I can't lose money.
Correct.
I'm going to pay about a 1% fee per year over the average life of the program. And then, heaven forbid, in the event I don't make it to where I can enjoy the living benefits and I die, my family gets a large sum of money to where all the expenses are covered. This, to me, sounds like something that is far superior to the 401k.
Sounds pretty proper, right?
It really
like
does.
Everybody should contribute to it.
I'm really surprised at learning this stuff, why people are out there against this stuff, because there's so many opponents of it, and it just doesn't make sense. It seems to me like the people that are either considering this or looking at this really need to get a copy of your book. And folks, you're listening to the channel today. We're going to offer you a copy of the book. It's super easy to get. All you got to do is call the office. It's 281-444-7555. Tell the people that answer the phone that you want to pick up a copy of The Retirement Hero. We'll send it out to you. We want you to take some time to read it. And then what we can do further is we'll have Mark actually build some illustrations for you to show you what the benefits and what this would actually look like for you to put your money into. And Mark, I think when we do those illustrations, we show the worst case scenario, the middle of the road case scenario, and the best case scenario. And even in the worst case scenarios, a lot of times, these things still produce substantial income and provide substantial security and peace of mind in the form of a death benefit if you do go meet your maker before you want to or before your time comes.
I don't think I could have said it any better, but I'm going to say a few words on top of that. It sounds too good to be true. Would you agree with that statement?
It does.
Yes.
It really does.
You know, our parents taught us when something doesn't pass the sniff test, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. I'm going to say, honestly, because I've been doing this for 24 years now with this particular product, this is one of the few instances in life where that adage is not correct. It's too good to pass up. Honest to God, I believe that. People don't know what they don't know. The opponents of this product, they cite the high fees. Well, people really don't have problems with fees if they understand the benefits. If I can take someone's $25,000 in premium in their 40s and turn it into $250,000 of tax-free value over their lifetime, really the cost is not that important. Fees have to exist. Insurance companies have to be profitable, and they are. They manage wealth and mitigate risk better than any other industry there is, and they have for centuries. It's not like I'm suggesting they put money on a fly-by-night brand new company with a product that's untested and unchallenged, so to speak. They've been around hundreds of years, many of these companies. This product is really good. It's not too good to be true. We've already talked about the importance of life insurance.
Sure.
And all these attributes. Your money grows tax-deferred, brilliant, necessary for sound money management. When the markets go down, you lose nothing. Well, that is a component that doesn't exist in many financial places, and then you can access it income tax-free. I haven't even talked about a long-term care component. A lot of these...
Let's touch on it for a second.
A lot of these products...
One of the biggest things we have to think about on a daily basis at Allied Wealth is long-term care issues.
So a lot of folks don't have their standalone long-term care policies anymore because, frankly, they've gotten very expensive recently. But a lot of these most of these permanent index products that I'm speaking about today, they come with what's called a chronic illness, and that's if you get in an accident or you get old and you can't do two of the activities of daily living, or a critical illness, a car crash, injury at work, whatever the case may be, you need assistance. You can draw down on your life insurance policy, income tax-free most of the time, to help you offset the time lost or the time necessary to recoup. So for all those reasons, in addition to this one I'm bringing up, living benefits on your life insurance policy, the value proposition, what you get for every dollar you pay, is just can't be matched anywhere. So for the last 24 years, I've been explaining that, and I decided to write a book. It's really, if you like the way I'm talking, it's written in that same vein, easy to understand, and eventually, in the last act of the book, I'm going to challenge you. We're going to give everyone this wonderful information, this common information that if you don't know, now you're at the fork in the road. If you're 30 years old, you're getting there early. If you're in your 40s, you're still okay. 50s and 60s, you're fine. But this asset class, the way it treats money, is something we all need to have. And we're trying to specialize in allowing people to keep as much as their hard-earned nest egg that they've worked so hard for. This is a strategy that carves out a niche where folks can get these dollars income tax-free, because sometime in the future, like you mentioned, our tax rates might get up there. I don't know that they're getting to 96, and that's what they were at the end of World War II. At the end of the Vietnam War, they were 70%. And a lot of us were around. A lot of the listeners here were alive in 1970. 70% tax in 1973. Imagine that. Today they're down to 39. They were just at 37. They've been increased a bit. And you know how we've been spending. So let's insulate ourselves so our clients can have more dollars, because every dollar saved is, every dollar earned is a dollar saved.
Think about the $120,000 a year in income, creating an $800,000 tax liability
Right.
over a 30-year period. I mean, that's just, if I can help mitigate that liability, that's just a huge thing. So folks, if anything we're talking about today on the YouTube channel here on the On the Money Allied Wealth YouTube channel is resonating with you, to get a hold of this book is so easy. Just call the office, 281-444-7555. Again, 281-444-7555. Give us a subscribe and a like down below. You can comment on the thread too. We'll reply back to you. But Marc's written a great book here. We want to get this information out to people because tax-free income is so important. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you a thing to get access to this book. Take advantage of the offer. Marc, you said you got a challenge. What's the act here? Tell me give me the challenge.
Well, the challenge is your listeners, hopefully they'll call in and get the book. I think if they read the book, they'll understand really the points we want to make. It's not too good to be true. It's too good to pass up. The expenses are on par with what the benefit is. Mm-hmm. Insurance carriers have been around a long time. You can trust in them. They do things well. And if you structure it in the right way, and I'm going to set every one of these up perfectly. I've been doing this for 24 years. I've honed my skill. I mean, I'm interested in saving every penny I can for your clients and helping them pay every penny less in taxes they can. And that's what this strategy does. So I challenge everyone, read the book. And finally, the last act is to act. Become your own retirement hero. That's the idea here. So when you look back at your life, you are your own hero because you made these important decisions at these important times of your life. And because of that, your family's in a better place. You made an extra $1,000, $10,000. You created a lot more wealth. And to be honest, I say this a lot, I don't think there's another place that you can more safely turn in the type of returns you're going to get, create this value, than any other financial vehicle that exists. I'm not saying put all your money in there, but I'm saying your safe money, the money's at those long-term positions that are in the bank and they have way too much money there, put it with an insurance company. They've been around, they're going to take proper care of your money. So consider that, and I'm excited to help you design these for all your listeners.
That's all right, that's folks, and it really is a two-part scenario. We want you to get the book, take a read of the book. It's a short read, it reads very fluidly, and just like Marc said, the way he writes and talks are the same. And so what will happen is once you read the book, what we want you to do is go a step further and let's run some illustrations. Let's actually show you what putting 5, 10, 15, 25, 30,000. I mean, Marc, you and I discussed my own ability to put money in this, and my wife and I are going to put a lot of money in these programs ourselves on top of the term insurance we already have. So I'm doing this myself, folks. And so it's one of these things where we want you to take action, read the book, and then get some illustrations run so you can evaluate this and find out if this is something for you. I know people talk about how that you shouldn't buy life insurance or buy term and invest the rest. Nobody ever invests the rest, folks. It doesn't happen like that.
Right.
And so many people are opponents of this, but what it ultimately comes down to is there's been a big evolution in the life insurance business and the life insurance products that are out there. Marc alludes to that very well in his book, talks about it in detail, and it's changed a lot, folks, so it's worth a look of reading the book and getting some illustrations run to find out if this is right for you, because ultimately it's your money and you have to make the decision for yourself. Schnitz, I love you, buddy.
Love you too.
I can't thank you so much
My
for having
pleasure.
me in here
Anytime.
on the studio here, being with us on the On the Money YouTube channel. I appreciate you so much. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for the book. Thanks for your time. Folks, give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us some comments down below, and please pick up the phone, call the office. It's 281-444-7555. We'll send you out a free copy of the book. We'll follow it up with some illustrations and some planning and find out if this awesome vehicle is something that can help add value to what you're trying to accomplish with your life and your golden years. Thanks so much and be well.